My husband made me feel crazy, so I made him watch me leave. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You really need help. You're imagining things again." That was it. That was the line. The moment everything snapped into place like puzzle pieces I'd been staring at upside down. We were standing in the kitchen. The exact kitchen where I had just watched him delete a text message when he thought I wasn't looking. The exact kitchen where my stomach dropped because the message read, "Miss last night already." And the contact name? Work. No name. Just work. He saw me looking. Saw my face. And instead of panic, instead of shame, he laughed. Actually laughed. And said, "Wow, you've really lost it, huh?" Like I hadn't just seen what I saw. Like I hadn't spent the last year wondering if I was being paranoid. Like I hadn't been gaslit so long I didn't even trust my own instincts anymore. But this time, I didn't fold. I didn't apologize for being crazy. I didn't second-guess myself. I didn't cry. I just looked at him. And I smiled. And in that second, I swear I saw something flicker in his face. Fear. Real fear. Because when a woman stops reacting the way you trained her to, that's when you lose control. And in that moment, I was done. Done doubting. Done explaining. Done sitting in bathrooms late at night Googling. Am I overthinking this, or is this emotional abuse? I wasn't crazy. I was clear. I knew exactly what I saw. I knew exactly who he was. And the craziest thing I could do now would be staying. So I wiped down the counter like nothing happened, put my coffee mug in the sink, and in my head, I started packing. Packing my plans. Packing my voice. Packing my freedom. Because the next time I left this kitchen, I wouldn't just be going to bed. I'd be walking out of this life entirely. And this time, he was going to have to sit there and watch me leave. Studio microphone, voiceover, thoughtful, almost soft at first, like remembering how easy it was to fall for the wrong kind of love. He didn't come in swinging. He came in gentle. The kind of gentle that doesn't raise alarms, it lowers them. He asked about my dreams, remembered little things I said, showed up with my favorite snacks after a hard day. He said things like, "You've been through so much. You deserve peace." And I believed him. Because when you're healing, peace feels like the safest drug in the world. At first, he encouraged me, told me how smart I was, how kind, how rare. And then slowly it changed. It wasn't "you're so smart" anymore. It was, "You overthink everything." It wasn't "you're so kind." It was, "You're too sensitive." It wasn't "you're rare." It was, "Most guys wouldn't put up with half the stuff I do." And I didn't even notice it happening. Not at first. Because the compliments didn't disappear. They just got twisted. He still brought me coffee. Still texted. Made it home safe? But now it came with, "Good thing I check on you since you're always in your head." Or, "I worry about you, you read too much into things." I found myself second-guessing everything. I'd replay arguments in my head for hours wondering, was I really being dramatic? I started apologizing more. For my tone. For my silence. For existing in a way that wasn't perfectly digestible. And he made sure I believed I was lucky he was patient. Lucky that someone was willing to love me despite how hard I was. He used words like crazy, like salt, just enough to sting but not enough to prove. And anytime I got close to calling it out, he'd love bomb me all over again. Flowers. Takeout. A movie night with my favorite snacks. See, I'm the only one who really gets you. And I believed that too. Until the day I stopped. Until the day I saw that being understood by him always came with a price. And I was finally done paying it. It didn't start with yelling. It started with doubt. Little comments like, "You're remembering it wrong. That's not what I said. You always assume the worst." At first, I argued. I tried to show him texts. Tried to quote back the exact words he said. But every road led to the same destination. Me. Overreacting. Me. Misunderstanding. Me. Making everything so difficult. I stopped telling my friends about the fights. Because after a while, even I was embarrassed. Not by what he was doing, but by how easily I was falling for it. He'd tell me I had a bad memory. Tell me I couldn't let things go. He joked about it in front of people, too. "You know how she gets. She remembers every word I've ever said, except for when I compliment her." Everyone would laugh. Even me. But inside, I felt like I was losing pieces of myself. And then, the isolation. Why do you tell your friends everything? We should keep stuff between us. People won't understand what we have. I stopped reaching out. Stopped venting. Stopped inviting people over because he'd sulk if I wasn't giving him my full attention. And then came the worst part. The things I told him about my past, my fears, my trauma, became ammunition. If I cried during a fight, this is why I said you should go back to therapy. If I asked for clarity, you're spiraling again. I can't deal with your triggers tonight. I started writing things down just so I wouldn't feel crazy. Little journal entries like, he said he didn't call me crazy today, but I wrote it down. He did. Or, he told me I overthink everything. But I know what I saw. And the pattern became impossible to ignore. He wasn't trying to love me. He was trying to erase me. Until I became so small, so self-doubting, so isolated that I wouldn't even trust my own voice. But what he didn't realize is that people like me, the ones who survive chaos, we don't disappear. We get quiet, and then we get very, very clear. It didn't happen during a fight. It happened on a Tuesday. We weren't arguing. We weren't yelling. He was sitting on the couch scrolling through his phone. I was making dinner. And he said, like it was nothing. You'd fall apart without me. No anger. No heat. Just fact. Like he believed it to his core. And maybe once. I did too. But not anymore. Not after months of tracking my own thoughts just to keep from losing myself. Not after reading old journal entries and realizing I had receipts of my own life. And those receipts didn't lie. He told me I was forgetful. My notes said otherwise. He told me I was dramatic. My text said otherwise. He told me I was crazy. My gut, finally, said otherwise. So while he sat there, still scrolling, still believing I was lucky to have him, I started planning. Quietly. Carefully. I made a list. What I needed to take. What I could leave. What I'd never miss. I opened a savings account in my name only. Set up a P.O. box. Stashed cash where I knew he wouldn't look. Inside books he never touched. I started calling my old friends again. Not for advice. Just to feel my own voice without an echo of him correcting it. I told them I missed them. And that I was okay. But soon, I was going to be more than okay. I was going to be gone. I packed a bag slowly over weeks. Socks here. Toothbrush there. Bit by bit. So that when the day came, I could leave without making a sound. No drama. No warning. No more giving him the satisfaction of watching me cry. Because he was right about one thing. I would fall apart without him. But only so I could rebuild stronger. Louder. Freer. And not in his house. Not in his shadow. In my own life. Fully. Completely. Finally. The day I left wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was perfect. A Thursday. Mid-morning. He thought I was going to the store. Grab me some energy drinks, he said. I smiled. Sure. And that was the last word I ever said to him. My bag was already packed. Everything I needed was already loaded in the car the night before while he was playing video games, headphones in, oblivious. I walked out like I was running an errand. Calm. Unbothered. Silent. I drove to my new apartment, a tiny studio with peeling paint and windows that actually opened. I didn't turn on music. I didn't cry. I sat there in my own stillness and thought. This is what peace sounds like. When he realized I wasn't coming back, he called. And called. And called. I didn't answer. Then came the texts. Where are you? This isn't funny. Come home. Home. What a lie. That place was never a home. It was a holding cell dressed up like love. Finally, after hours of silence, he sent the one that made me laugh out loud. Wow. After everything I've done for you? There it was. The real him. The man who thought kindness was currency. The man who thought patience was payment. And I was done being in his debt. I changed my number that night. Sent my new info only to people I trusted. I emailed the landlord and removed my name from the lease. Told the electric company to disconnect the account I had been paying for both of us. I didn't leave him a letter. Didn't leave my key. Didn't leave an apology. I left exactly what he gave me. Silence. But my silence wasn't empty. It was powerful. It was final. It was proof that I didn't owe him closure just because he called himself my husband. Marriage is about partnership. He treated it like ownership. And me. I wasn't a possession. I was the prize. And when he realized I was gone for good, no texts, no calls, no tears, just gone. That's when he learned the real lesson. The most powerful thing a woman can do is leave without looking back. Healing didn't look the way I thought it would. It didn't look like revenge. It didn't look like winning or proving a point. It looked like breathing. Like not checking my phone every 10 minutes. Like not rehearsing conversations in the shower. Like walking into a room and not scanning it to see if I was doing something wrong. My apartment was tiny. My bed sat directly on the floor for a while. My dishes didn't match. But it was mine. No eggshells to walk on. No tension humming beneath the surface. No one rewriting my memories while I was still living them. I got my voice back slowly. I didn't even notice it at first. It started with small things. Picking out bright nail polish. Dancing while cleaning. Laughing, full and loud, with no one there to flinch or correct me. I started saying yes to things again. Dinner with friends. A weekend road trip. Signing up for a class I was always told was a waste of money. I reconnected with myself in fragments. Not all at once. Just little pieces slowly stitching back together. I journaled every night. Not to keep records, but to remember who I was when no one was telling me who to be. My new life was simple, but it was so loud with peace I didn't even notice the quiet. I stopped apologizing for everything. For resting. For feeling. For needing space. For needing nothing from anyone except honesty. I stopped calling what happened to me love, and started calling it what it really was. A lesson. A season. A storm I survived without an umbrella, and came out standing anyway. And when people asked if I missed him, if I ever thought about going back, I smiled, because I did think about him. But only like you think about a locked door you walked through once, and will never walk through again. Healing isn't pretty. It's messy. Lonely sometimes. But it's also the most beautiful thing I've ever done. Because I didn't just lose a husband. I lost the version of me who thought surviving in silence was the same as being loved. And what I found instead was me. I don't hate him. I don't think about revenge. I don't wonder if he regrets it. Because none of that matters. Not anymore. I used to think closure meant a conversation. Me sitting across from him. Explaining how he hurt me. Making sure he got it. But now, I understand something different. Closure isn't something you wait for. It's something you create when you stop needing their version of the story. And my story? It didn't end with him. It started when I left him. I don't care if he tells people I was crazy, or difficult, or ungrateful, because I know who I am now, and anyone worth knowing will see it too. He lost access to me the second he weaponized my love. He lost the privilege of my presence the second he mistook my silence for weakness. And he lost the right to my story the second he tried to rewrite it without my consent. These days I move differently. I don't chase clarity. I am clarity. I don't argue with anyone who tries to make me doubt myself. I simply leave them exactly where they stand, in their own echo chamber of smallness. My voice belongs to me now. My peace belongs to me now. My life belongs to me now. And when I think back to the woman I used to be, the one crying in the bathroom at 2 a.m. wondering, is it me? Am I the problem? I wish I could hug her and whisper what I know now. It was never you. It was never me being too sensitive. It was never me being too emotional. It was never me being too complicated. It was always him being too small to hold something real. And that's not my burden to carry. That's not my lesson to learn. That's his mirror to face. And me. I'm too busy living. Laughing loud. Loving harder. Dreaming bigger. No explanation needed. No apology given. Just gone. And this time, gone for good.
Thanks so much for watching. If you love a good revenge story, or if you've ever dreamed of getting the last word without saying much at all, you're in the right place. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new savage ending. Because around here, karma always hits different.